Hey guys, it's Dr. Roberts here with Nashville Neck and Back. And before we jump into this reaction video, I wanted to take a moment to go over a little bit of transparency and honesty with you guys. My previous reaction videos have been exactly that. Honest, legit reaction videos where what you're seeing is me reacting to the very first time I've seen that content, that video. This one's going to be a little bit different. I've watched this video multiple times and I tried to do a reaction video or record a reaction video initially. But I just got a little too hot, a little too mad, a little too steamed, and the content I didn't feel was going to be enjoyable to watch. So I'm going to try to do it again. We're going to record this and we're going to see how this goes. But man, this one just got my blood boiling, and I think you're going to see why coming up. I don't even want to do it's just this guy. Here we go. Let's go. All right, guys, before we dive into this video, let me give you a little backstory explaining how I even stumbled upon this video. So since doing these reaction videos, a lot of you have commented asking questions about the Y-strap or the ring dinger doc down in Texas. Is it safe? Is it effective? All good questions. And I do have some videos coming up where I'm going to explore that a little deeper. But in doing that research and watching a lot of those videos regarding the Y-strap, this one popped up and it got my attention. So I decided to check this out, which is why we're reviewing and reacting to it today. Now, again, for those of you that are really interested in the Y-strap, I'm not going to comment a ton on that during this reaction video because I want to focus the attention on this douche. But I will have a thorough Y-strap video coming up real soon, as well as some possible patient videos regarding the Y-strap. So anyway, let's dive in. This is a neurosurgeon giving his thoughts on the Y-strap adjustment, and he appears to be working at the Duke Spine Institute. So anyway, here we go. Let's dive in.
Hello, I'm Dr. R. Duke-Majan. I'm a neurosurgeon, board certified in the United States, practicing in Florida at the Duke Spine Institute. And I'm here today to talk to you about this very popular treatment that's online that we're seeing a lot of videos on, and it's called the Y-strap.
You can already see on his face his disgust with the Y-strap and chiropractors. Can you just see how he's almost just kind of smirking as he's even just initially talking about this? We've not even gotten into it and he's already pissing me off.
And this is a chiropractor who's using basically a harness, a traction harness to wrap around people's chins and grab it and then pull. And you're starting to see patients who are being treated with videos online, and these people are talking about how great they feel right after the treatment. So we want to dive in a little bit, and I'm going to take you through some of these treatment videos and give you my commentary on what I think about it. Just so you understand what we're talking about a manipulation technique done by a chiropractor on the spine. And for those of you who don't know much about the spine is made up of bones that are stacked on top of each other. It's called the spinal column because all of your body's extremities and organs are attached to the spine, and they put weight down on the spine. So gravity pulls everything down, and all these bones are compressed down on two types of joints. The two types of joints I'm talking about are the disc joint, which is this cushion between the bones, and of course the second type of joint is the facet joint. The facet joint back here, there's a left and a right facet joint for every disc. So for movement to happen in the spine, it happens not where the bones are, but between the bones at the disc or the facet joints. So if I'm moving these two bones, I'm going to be moving it at the disc, and I'm going to be moving them at the facet joints. It's a very
so notice what he just said there. If we're moving this joint, we're going to be moving it at the disc and the facet joints. Keep that in mind.
Big misrepresentation or myth to believe that chiropractic treatments affect the disc, because they don't.
He just said if you're moving the joint, you're moving it at the disc and the facet joint. In the very next breath, he says chiropractic does not affect the disc.
They affect the facet joints.
Which they do.
And when you hear the cracking and popping that goes on with manipulation, that cracking and popping is happening right here in the facet joints, not the disc. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these treatments. I'm going to start up my video right now and we'll talk about it. All right, so
I felt that all the way down to my butt.
Good.
Oh my goodness, that was so fantastic! That was so fantastic!
all right, so why was that so fantastic? This woman is so happy because he did the treatment and she's still alive.
Are you kidding me? He's saying that with a smirk on his face and a condescending look, like, because she's still alive. Are you kidding me?
And she's just happy as heck that she's alive and she survived it.
Happy because she survived it. Like, I can't even believe, I don't know. We're going to get to some numbers here in a little bit, but this just irritates the hell out of me. I wonder how many surgical patients jump off the table and think, man, that felt great. Probably not many. I wonder how many surgical patients have died because of surgical mistakes. Quite a few.
I would be happy too if I survived that treatment. That's scary.
That's scary.
Basically what this guy's doing is he's taking a very strong rope, putting it around your neck and basically hanging you.
He's putting a rope around your neck and hanging you. He's comparing a chiropractic adjustment, specifically the Y-strap adjustment, with hanging somebody from a tree, which they so politely added a
I mean,
little
how many
graphic
of you
here
watch the
to
old
demonstrate
Western
that.
movies, right?
So
Where
this
the
is what he's
people are
comparing the
put in a
chiropractic treatment
noose
to.
and they're going to get hung and then suddenly the floor drops and they jolt down. That's the same thing this guy's doing, except he's not hanging them any longer than a second. He's just hanging them for that first second. So why are people feeling better? Well, first of all, they're hearing all that cracking and crunching going on, and that's happening once again in these little joints along the spine, because he's distracting the spine and basically pulling the joints apart. It's no different than popping your knuckles, okay? And that's why it makes that popping sound when he does it. Except when you pop your knuckle, you're popping one joint, so you feel one pop. When you're popping the spine, you're popping like 20 joints. And so that's why you're hearing all those popping and crunching sounds. It's just a matter of popping more joints. It just means it's more dangerous, to be quite honest with you.
Just means it's more dangerous. Yeah, okay. More dangerous than
So what
surgery?
happens when those joints pop is they're basically sliding. Suddenly they're being pulled and slid, like being hung in a noose. Your body suddenly pulls on your neck and all that weight goes down, pulling your head up, body down, distracts the joints. That's what happens right before you die.
Again, comparing the chiropractic adjustment, like this is what happens right before you die. Like, come on. Like, no wonder there is this separation. There's this disconnect between the chiropractic field and the medical profession. Now, that street goes both ways. There are plenty of chiropractors out there that are anti-medicine, anti-medical field, that think chiropractic cures cancer and you never need to go to an MD, you never need to go to a hospital. That's just as bad and just as guilty as this dumbass comparing a chiropractic adjustment to death or being hung from a tree. It's idiots like this that prevent patients who need help from getting the proper help that they need. I guarantee you this douche would rather cut you open and perform a surgery than exploring any type of conservative treatment options. It just blows my mind. And the sooner that our profession, chiropractic, can get rid of those whack jobs that are anti-medical, and the sooner that the medical field can get rid of dickheads like this, the better off the patient population will be, and everybody will have a better chance of getting better without unnecessary or wasted treatment.
I mean, if this guy pulled any longer or harder, these people would be dead. So
How is that not? Sorry, guys. This is like the fourth time I've tried to record this, and I just get so pissed that I don't even have the words to articulate my disgust for this video. I'm stumbling over my words because I can't.
what kind of injuries could happen as a result of this treatment?
That's a good question. What kind of injuries? What kind of side effects? Should we compare side effects of chiropractic with the side effects of neurosurgery? I would be delighted to look at the benefits and possible side effects of those two professions and the risks associated with both.
Well, there's something called occipital cervical dislocation.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Basically what it means is when your skull, which is what he's pulling on, literally pulls off your spine, and it pulls the spinal cord and the brain apart from each other.
So, occipital cervical dislocation. You know what causes that? Severe and traumatic car accidents most of the time, but a severe traumatic injury most of the time being a rear end collision or you've run into somebody at a very high speed. This is not something that just happens every day, and this is not something that happens in a chiropractic office. And for this dumbass to be comparing a chiropractic adjustment or a Y-strap adjustment to getting your head ripped off your spine in a fatal car accident is ridiculous. Now, another point that if I wanted to make, if chiropractic was so dangerous, I believe our malpractice insurance would be through the roof. But, and you can simply Google this, you don't have to take my word for it. If chiropractic is so dangerous, why is the average annual malpractice for a chiropractor anywhere from $500 to $3,000 a year? I can tell you for a fact, I don't pay anywhere near $3,000 a year for my malpractice. Compare that to a neurosurgeon's malpractice. Can vary from state to state, city to city. I'm looking at some cities here: Denver, Bridgeport, Washington, D.C., Miami, $75,000 a year, $90,000 a year, $135,000 a year, when a chiropractor pays about $1,500 a year. Now, you tell me which one is safer.
Right at the brainstem. And if that happens, you're toast. You're gonna die. The brainstem controls breathing, consciousness, everything. And somebody could easily be basically knocked right out by damaging the brainstem.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about deaths after treatment. So if you look up the leading causes of death in America, per the CDC, and it's funny how they like to manipulate words to hide the real truth, but number one is heart disease, number two is cancer, and number three, the third leading cause of death in the United States, they have listed as accidents and or unintentional injuries. If you go back not that long ago and really look at what that stands for, that really stands for medical accidents. So medical errors are the number three cause of deaths in the United States every year. Upwards of 250,000 to 440,000 people die every year because of medical mistakes in the hospital, in the surgical room, not in the chiropractic office. Do you want to look at the number of deaths caused by chiropractors? Well, it's nowhere near 400,000. It's nowhere near 250,000. And there's really no true documentation of the number. But if you do find a number, it's probably going to be 25 or 26 total deaths. Not 250,000, not 500,000, 25. Oh, and by the way, that's 250 to 450,000 deaths per year in the medical field. That 25 for the chiropractor is in the past 75 to 100 years. So 500,000 deaths per year versus 25 over the past 75 years. Come on.
So it's really, I think, very irresponsible, and this guy's lucky. It's like playing Russian roulette. You know, it's exciting. You put one bullet in the chamber and you pull the trigger. Wow, I mean, what a rush of
Being a chiropractor is just like playing Russian roulette. You never know when your very next patient's just going to die on your table.
adrenaline, right? But if the bullet happens to be the one in the chamber, when you pull the trigger, it's all over. So every time they're pulling on these people's heads, they could pull the skull right off the spine. And
How many times does that happen? How many chiropractors in the United States are treating 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 more patients per day? Per day. How many skulls have been ripped off their spine? I bet it's 0.
basically snap your brainstem in half and you're dead. So I think it's very irresponsible, to be quite honest. Where do we see these kind of injuries? We see them in motor vehicle accidents. That's when people get into crashes, like a head-on crash where the front of your car hits the rear of someone else and your head snaps forward. The whole skull goes forward and it can rip right off your spine. This guy's recreating motor vehicle accident injuries to the neck.
This chiropractor is recreating car accidents on every treatment. What a load of shit.
Every time he's doing this treatment. So why do people feel good? Well, like I said, number one, they feel all the cracking and popping.
So I don't know what this guy's obsession is with the cracking and popping. He seems to lean into that for any type of positive result from chiropractic. It's just, oh, the patient feels the pops and the cracks, and that makes them feel better.
Wow, you know, I'm alive. So that's number one, I survived. So what that does is it releases all the natural endorphins and adrenaline in your body immediately. Fight or flight. We've all been in that situation where suddenly there's something dangerous, like a snake on the ground that might bite you, or somebody's yelling and running towards you, they want to attack you. Suddenly you get full of adrenaline, you're all pumped up, your body's stimulated, your heart's racing, you're breathing faster, you're ready to go. That's what these people are feeling, an adrenaline rush. That's all this is.
Yep, that's all chiropractic is, just a simple adrenaline rush. That's the only thing, that's the only benefit that we as chiropractors provide, is just a simple adrenaline rush.
If you want an adrenaline rush, go do something that's safer for you. Don't have your skull nearly pulled off your spine. Because everything he's doing with the cracking and popping, it's not doing anything permanent to fix your body. There's
nothing permanent to fix your body. Not like, you know, I don't know, crippling somebody after you fuse their spine together and it makes them worse, or they're worse off in 2 years and they can barely walk. That never happens with spinal surgeries. Never, never. The success rate for low back surgery is through the roof. It's so very successful. Although there is a diagnosis code for failed low back surgery. Just throwing that out there.
Permanent change going on unless he kills you, which is permanent. But besides killing you, everything that's being done with this, if you survive it, it's all going to settle back, and there's no fixing anything done with this technique except an adrenaline release.
So there you have it. Again, just one guy's opinion, but wouldn't be surprised that a lot of neurosurgeons have that opinion of chiropractic and the Y-strap in general. But guys, it's to dismiss an entire profession on the basis of nothing, just your holier than thou outlook on your treatment is just, it's mind-boggling. It is completely mind-boggling to think of how many patients who have had unnecessary surgery that could have gotten better without getting cut on if they had just been sent to a chiropractor or a physical therapist or some other type of conservative option that does not involve cutting on your spine. Because once you go under the knife, there's no going back. And any spine surgeon knows, and any patient that's had spine surgery, once they work on you, especially if it's a fusion, the joints above and the joints below, they got to work overtime. They got to supply the range of motion. They got to do all the work. So it's just going to degenerate and deteriorate on up the spine and on down the spine, and you're just going to find yourself in a bad spot 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, whatever. Now, that's not to say that some people don't need spine surgery. If you need it and that's what you have to have, then by all means get that treatment. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, all spine surgery is worthless, just like this guy saying all chiropractic is worthless. So anyway, you guys, I guess that's a wrap on this video. I really don't want to have to watch this again. I really don't want to have to record and react to it again. Hopefully this one was entertaining for you guys. If not, I apologize. I'm just not going to do this one again because I get pissed off every time I watch it. In the meantime, check out one of these videos coming up. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more on the lighter, funnier side. But I just couldn't turn the other cheek when it came to this. I had to react to it. So anyway, guys, we'll see you on the next video.